Alright, this is going to be a two-part video of me practicing some dogfighting against an F-5 while flying the F-86. This video here is actually when I actually get it right after several failed attempts and, you know, DCS crashes, unfortunately. But if you're interested, stay tuned. This is actually a two-part video. The second part is going to be a very extended, but at least in my opinion, one of the best dogfights against the AI I've ever had. It's like 15 minutes long, but it shows some pretty good guns defense, in my opinion. So if you want to watch that, stay tuned. If you don't, just watch the first 5 minutes here where I chase down the F-5 and gun him down. So what I found in my practice sessions is that energy management when you're at a disadvantage like this is absolutely critical. And in the F-86, you have a tendency to black out when you get the speed you need to make the turn, so it's kind of a delicate balance between pulling enough G to get the angles you need, unloading the G to accelerate, but still keeping the angle you need, and not blacking out. It's kind of there's a sweet spot right in between going too slow and going too fast. There's another over-the-top kill. Pretty happy with that one. It took a lot of practice to get to the point where I could do that. I tell you what, yeah, that was a lot of fun. So if you really want a good fight, I suggest putting yourself in a good dogfighter like an F-86, MiG-15, what have you, and put yourself in something a generation newer as your opponent, like F-5, MiG-21. You know, you go guns only. I did have a couple of fights against it, gave me a couple of missiles, but it ended up, anytime I did, you know, there's a reason why, if you're interested in this, there's a reason why all aspect missiles made maneuverability more important than speed. Because if you go to extend, rely on your speed to get away, and he's got an all aspect missile, you're just setting yourself up to die. Alright, so here we are in Tact View. I'm just going to get through this real quick since you already saw what just happened. He's obviously got afterburners and a thrust advantage. He's also really freaking small and hard to see, as I found. So, zoom climb. And I found this AI in the F-5 doesn't always do the zoom climb maneuver after the merge. He does different things. So, I actually got some really good fights out of this. Coming up over the top. I'm pretty fast, well, fast-ish. You can see my speed down here at around 300 knots. He didn't actually do that in the game. It's just Tact View misinterpreting things. Here I'm picking up speed, picking up speed, picking up speed, and here you go. It's like, okay, well, I could pull back on the stick real hard and turn inside of his, you know, pull into lead pursuit, but that would bleed too much energy. It also risk blacking out. So I waited a minute, build some speed back up, try to close in a little bit. And here's I'm trying to balance angles versus speed versus not blacking out, and just biding my time, staying inside of his turn a little bit, well, depending on how you look at it. Closing, closing, closing. He goes up over the top, and look how close I had to get. And that was a good kill. Pretty happy with that one. Like I said, yeah, you don't want to... If you want to see what it took to practice to get to the point where I could do that this morning, stay tuned. That's coming right up. Alright, so like I said, this is a 15-minute fight, and I don't end up making a kill. He doesn't kill me. DCS ends up crashing, but like I said, if you want to... I think this is a pretty good example of defensive BFM against guns. If you're interested in that kind of stuff. You can see I make a few moves here which end up saving my ass, even though he's in a good, you know, he controls me the whole fight. Like, I'm purely defensive for the most part. There's a good example here of rolling scissors, using roll to spoil a gunshot, a bunch of other cool stuff. Despite me not, I mean, there's no explosions in this video, but if you're interested in the, what it looks like to defend against somebody who's got your number, this is excellent AI. It doesn't joke around. He's got a better plane, well, better in quotation marks, a more sophisticated, faster, newer plane. If you're interested in that, stay tuned. If not, you can go ahead and skip the video. The rest of it, I might do more like this. These like horribly mismatched matchups, just to kind of see. That's one of the cool things that I think about DCS. It's depending on what you like. Some people like to keep everything period appropriate. There's a lot of discussion about that, about 1944 and the Normandy map and the aircraft we have aren't representative. Blah 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 blah. I don't really care. I like to make some interesting matchups here. I mean, F-86 versus F-5 probably never really happened, but man, it was a lot of fun, educational for me. It made me better. I learned a lot in this fight here. Here I'm diving, trying to get my speed back up. Watch my Mach meter. He's up over the top, back over my right shoulder. So can I turn inside of him? No. Can I out-zoom him? No. Can I out-dive him? Maybe. Probably not. So, he's got a full generation. Actually, first, second, he's a third gen. So a second. This is a first generation jet fighter. Anyway, I can't remember. It doesn't matter. You get the point. This is me constantly just trying to keep him. He's in my rear quarter. So what do? I can't outrun him. I can't just keep turning and get inside of him and put him on the front because I'll just bleed dry. F-86 is a badass fighter, but you got a huge thrust disadvantage here. I'm repeating myself. I'll just kind of mute the mic until I see something interesting. Huh? How about that? Okay, I think this is the point when I start devolving into a kind of rolling scissors, hoping to force him into an overshoot, struggling with track IR. Just using my roll to constantly spoil his shot and hopefully trying to get him in my front quarter. It never works out quite the way I want it to. Right when I think, like right here, I think, okay, I got him. He's gonna extend, unload and extend away. He just keeps turning. He can do that. I'm thinking, oh, I got him, and look, he's facing me. So it's this kind of delicate balance between keeping your speed up, keeping your turn rate up, which is mutually exclusive usually, climbing, diving, balancing all this stuff out while being very careful not to turn too hard and not to lose too much speed because then he'll just kill you. And that's rolling scissors, and that's it's fun in the game. Apparently in real life it really sucks because you're just under constant stress, high G with your head over your shoulder. It's gotta hurt a lot, but this ends up being a lot of fun. He's trying not to let me get on him, and vice versa. It's constant back and forth. Yeah. Little struggle there. Now I lost sight of him, so I figure he's definitely in my rear quarter. I'm low on speed, so I extend, unload, push slight forward on the stick, which unloads the wings a little bit and lets your engine accelerate versus push forward and generate lift. So what I found in the F-86, if you're interested in this, is if you find yourself up high or low on energy, you're wallowing a little bit. That's this is just me using roll to spoil his shot. Well, sort of. I won't pull up and load the plane up, usually I find, until your Mach meter starts registering anything. If you're below 0.5 Mach and you start doing some turns in the F-86, you're dead. You have to have at least 0.5 Mach before you start making an aggressive turn. At least from what I found. So I'm trying to keep it more vertical here to see if that works, and that doesn't work out either. It's just this constant back and forth, building up speed, finding them behind me, pulling up to try and gain some altitude so I can start to do something with it instead of doing level turns on the deck, which will kill you. And of course, you know, I just can't quite keep up with them. It's frustrating, yeah, but it's good training. And look at this, right on the deck. That's not a place to be. See that? 0.6 Mach, and then I start to climb back up. That's ugly. And there he is. So here's I would do kind of like modified Immelman turns. You get on my 6, I pull up, roll 90 degrees, and then pull back over. Yeah, it seems to spoil a gunshot pretty well. I'm like, ooh, maybe if I have enough energy, I can pull my nose up around and get him. Nope. He's just too quick. If I had enough speed right here, I probably could have pulled up into the vertical, roll to the left 90 degrees, pull up and over and into a 6, but of course I don't. See, I tried here, and there's just not enough. Spacing is wrong, and I wasn't fast enough. Look, he's already pointing at me. So right here, what was I thinking? I was gonna pull up, roll to the left, try and pull over the top and hope he shot out the other side. Of course it didn't happen. Instead he clings to my butt because he can do that. So you can see in a guns-only fight how important speed is versus all aspect missiles suddenly entering in, or even rear aspect missiles. Let's say you have an F-5 and you're in a guns-only fight, you know, and you're fighting anybody else. You're in close quarters, you're doing the kind of stuff you see here, and you know, you've got 2 missiles or even 1, and you know, the smartass decides, you know, I've had enough of this, I'm going to extend and re-engage. Well, he starts to run away. Well, guess what you got? You're going to pop him in the butt with a missile. So he might be able to outrun your guns, but he's not going to be able to outrun your missile. So you can see how that changed kind of everything. If you look at, you know, from World War II probably up until, geez, I don't know, late 60s, 70s, I don't know. is speed, speed, speed. Of course, you know, you need speed. You need speed to be able to engage and disengage. You need speed to be able to spend to make a turn. All that other stuff, and then suddenly all aspect missiles come about, and that becomes still important, of course, for performance and agility and whatnot. But the ability to point your nose in the general direction of the bad guy, and like right there, you know, is pretty important, because it doesn't matter how fast he is. If you're in close quarters and he hits the burner and tries to run away, what is he going to hit? Eventually Mach 2, maybe. It's not going to outrun your Mach 3 plus missile. Anyway, I'll talk about this stuff all day. You can... yeah. I don't know, maybe somebody more capable than me could have fought his way out of this mess. This 15-minute mess I was in. So I'm trying to pop up and acquire him and see if I can get a good angle on him. And like, where is he? I don't see anything. Oh, there he is. It's too late. I can't do anything. And with this weapon, unlike the cannon and the F-5, snapshots don't really work too well. Because, yeah, you might score some hits. Your rate of fire is good. Your 650 cals are no joke. They're all close together and it's pretty dense. But really, you're not going to probably make a kill with a snapshot in the F-86. At least with the current damage model. I don't know. I guess it depends. If you're fighting a player, maybe. So here you can see me rinsing and repeating, you know, diving to get above 0.5 Mach, pulling up, and then trying to spoil a shot, rolling, pulling over the top. And I pulled too hard and turned my airplane into an air brake. And if you look at my speed gauge, it's 150. That's no good. But the F-86 does gain speed back pretty quickly, especially in a dive. It does accelerate. It's pretty dynamic. I love the F-86. Yeah, it really just feels alive. Yeah, it's just zippy, you know, just responsive, light to the touch. But it's got the limitations, you know, that you have to stay within. So you can't just hop in and blast away. You really got to use some finesse. You gotta monitor your exhaust gas temperature, make sure you don't black out, but don't go too slow. You know, it's just a balancing act, of course. But it's always fun. Could I make a shot here? Nope. And that's where we have to end it, because DCS decided to lock up nice and solid. So, yeah. I know this wasn't like the most thrilling video. There's no action. It's not blowing up, you know, a dozen tanks in the Warthog. It's not you know, dogfighting an F-14 or anything like that. But I don't know. I thought this is one of the best fights I've had in DCS, especially against the AI. It was just constant, like, high-speed chess. Every move is check. And well, he was checking me every time. But yeah, I don't know. I hope you enjoyed it. If not, let me know. And of course, you probably saw a ton of mistakes in there. If you can point them out, I'd be glad to hear it. I'm sorry, would be glad to hear about it.